Okay, so in this one we are going to learn about creating a login page where we are going to have a person register, then they log in so that they can view information that is inside here. I'll make it a two-part series because once we have created the login page, we'll have to create a way in which we can have restrictions for different people who enter the site. But for now, let's concentrate on creating registration page and a login page, and we'll do this real quick by just having inside here, we'll create a login.html, have a new file, save it as login.html, enter, and then create another one which we'll call the register.html, html. Let's have just have h tags, h5 and say register, copy this, paste it here, then have a login here. Save this. Now we need to go to the URL, to our URLs, and in these URLs we will have create a new path here. Let's just create it on top. So we create a path here, and this path will be the login, okay, and another path, a registration path. Copy this, paste it here. So somebody can go to the register here, and then on our views.html we'll create two functions. We'll create the login function, take requests, and then we'll have another function which we'll call register, take requests. Now the things that are inside this function, first of all we want to render it. We want to render return render. Inside here we'll have requests, and then we'll have it go to this. Just copy paste this real quick. I don't like copy pasting, but since this is like repeating, I just prefer just copy pasting. This will take the login, then context, then we can have context here, should be equal to an empty one. You can copy this, paste it here, change this to register. Okay, save this, and then now we want to use this login and register on our URL that we've just created. So it will go to login.html, view login. Then we'll call it, just give it a name. It should be equal to will be equal to login. Okay, perfect. Just have a comma here, another comma here, go inside here. Views, and change this real quick. So we've got to views.register, and then in here we'll also give it a name, which will be register. Perfect. Save this. I think I've saved everything. Save this, cancel, save this. go to our server, expected an intent block after function definition. Okay, online 63, no problem. This is a problem here, save this, no problem. Go back here, name register is not defined, views.register, no problem. We just go back here, check the name register, it's good. URL, okay, so it's saying this name. Oh, okay, this is the problem here. It's supposed to be inside there. Refresh, reload, it's working. When we go to our server now and go to stroke login, we have that login there, register, we have our register there. So we need to create these templates to have a kind of registration page that will allow somebody to come in and view these things. But first of all, let's create this login page. This, okay, first you need to go to the views.py and import something here. So we'll import from Django.contrib.auth, which is basically authentication.forms. You can import something called user creation form, and make sure this is these ones are capitalized. So you import the user creation form. Then on our function, let's add this function on this registration function. So on this function, we'll first come and say form equals to user creation form, and we can now on our context here we can add something which will be form colon form. Okay, and then we'll go to our registration here. We'll delete whatever we have inside here, and then we'll just create a basic form. And then this form, we'll just enter that, give it a method. The method will be posts, and then action, when the action to be done on the current URL that we are in. So we'll leave that blank, and then after doing that, we can render something here, the form itself. Save this, go back here, go to register, enter. Okay, just save this, save that, refresh. Okay, now you can see our form here. So our username, password confirmation. It looks kind of weird, but it's there. We can change something here just to make it look a little bit better. We can add .as_p, _p, save this, refresh. Now it aligns them a little bit better, but still looks kind of funny. And we can we want now to add an email number here, an email phone number on this, so that people register with a username, email, and phone number and a course. And then we can now go to styling it and making it look a little bit better, because you don't want to come from this to this. You need a very good appealing page. So what we'll do, we also need an input here, and the type will be create user, the type will be a submit. So So it's the submit input that we have been having most of them, and you just name it create user. Okay, it looks nice. Save this, refresh. We have a submit button here. You can do so many things with this. You remember we can add a couple of things here, but we'll add them as we continue. So it looks nice, has a submit button. You can see please fill out these pages. The good thing about Django and all its libraries and packages is that now this has come with these functionalities without having to write them out. This has to be filled, this has to be filled. We can do that and then write that and then submit. And then we have not yet given them the CSRF verifications and everything, but you can see that this cannot be empty, etc, etc. So we can add a here, submit. See, password, please have something here, etc. So let's now go to and add a Crsf register. Let's add that Crsf token. Go like this, and to put $sign, sorry. Okay, we'll go like this, $sign, %sign, then Crsf token, as if a way of Django just sending information. And after that, okay, you remember how we did it in the student in the creation student form. We did it before, and you should be familiar with this. So what we need to do right now we need to post this data, and the best way to do that is just having this. So if the request dot method, as you can see from that side, the request method is post. So if the request method is post, what we want it to do is, if the request method is post, what we want it to do is convert this form now to be equal to the user creation form, and now the request dot posts. So whatever you get from that, we want it now to render it and just put that information inside the database. And then we can validate this by giving it another condition here. So if form dot is valid, just like we did the other time, we want that to save the form. Let's save. And we also want it to return redirect, and inside here it will take us home. Perfect. Okay, we save this, and now what we need to do is have this side by side with this, and we'll have the admin panel here. And now you can see how it works. We go to the users, you can see we have 2 users, and now we want to create a new one. We can have Anton. The password we'll just write this password real quick. Submit. Okay, there's an error. Let me go back to the code, save this, register, save this, go back, do this again, maybe. Submit. Okay. This is a CRF missing. Failure view. Okay. Let's see what the problem might be. So Crsf Token missing on the register page. Have I written it correctly? CSRF. Oh, I've written it incorrectly. CSRF. Save this. Sorry for that. Let's redo this again. Just a small minor mistake, but once you know what you're doing, it just flows. Okay, perfect. Make sure that I've saved this time around. Submit this. What? CSRF. Save this. Okay. Okay. Don't worry, we'll just sort it out right now. Okay, what might be the problem here? Submit, create. This is a problem. Oh, very dumb mistake. It's not space, it's underscore. Save this. Sorry. It's not space, it's underscore. There are some mistakes you can make while doing it, some dumb mistakes, but as long as you know what you're doing, and if you just follow the instructions that you're given, by this, because if you look at this, you will see that the problem was in the CSRF token, which is just a safe way of Django sending information. You can submit this. Sorry, I think maybe I've not saved it well. Save this. Because all these changes have been made, I think I need to refresh this. Let me just refresh it. Start again. Anton. Perfect. Look at this side. And then you submit this. Okay. Save, refresh this. You can see Anton here has been created, and because I've redirected it to the first page here, it has redirected it to this page. As you can see, there's a new user that has been created here, and the user creation form is very nice because it does the sorting of the passwords or the hashing of the passwords, making the password very complicated for any hacker to get that information, and making sure that you cannot repeat the username again, and you cannot have a password that's incorrect, etc. Those are code that we don't have to write, and they have been provided for us by this Django package, this Django user creation form. Now let's go back to the code. Views. Okay, perfect. You can see it's using the user creation form. And the user creation form has that specific outline, how it looks. Now what we want to do, we want to go to the forms.py, and in the forms.py we want to do we want to import. So from Django import, we want to import something here. We want to import forms. Okay, then what you need to do, something else you need to do is we need to there is the default the default user model that Django has. As if you can see from the admin panel, you can see these things that are here: username, email, first name, last name. So if you import the user model, the model by Django, we will get to use a couple of those things. So what we will do, we need to import now from Django, just follow along. From Django.contrib .auth now .models. We want to import something called the user. Make sure this is a capital letter. Okay. We also need to import the one that we used here. We need to import this too. I'll just copy that real quick. Take this down. Can create some space for these guys. Okay. Now we need to create a new class. So this class will create a new class here. We'll just call it we'll just call it create user form, so that it's not the same as user creation form, because we now want to create a new one. Okay, it will inherit from the user creation form, and we can write class meta here. Class meta, and then we can have the model will be equal to the user. Okay, we'll use user here, same as this. So remember, this is also capital letter. Then the fields that we'll have here will be rather than having it having everything here, what you can do, you can just have a Python list, and it will contain all this. If you read the documentation, you'll know how these things are written. You can just go and read the documentation on this, but also you can just follow along with me. So it's username. I've decided just to have username, email, and password. Email and password. So if you read the documentation, you realize that you'll have password 1, then password 2. That is good. Save this. Now if we go here, we'll just realize that it will have let's go to this and go to now to register. If we refresh this, you'll realize there's no email that has been added, and we already saved this. What you need to do is you need to go back to the view, and now we want it to use the one that we have created, the form that we have created, which is create user form. So we'll come and change down here. We'll change this to create user form and this to create user form. Save this. I think let me get rid of this redirect first. We will open this and this, refresh this. Okay, create user form is not defined. Let me just go and have that there, no problem. Go back to the code. So create user form is not defined, no problem. If you go to the forms, we'll save this, and from the view we can see that it's going to the forms and importing student stroke form. So it is also supposed to import create user form. Save this, go back, refresh this, and now we have the email field here. And if we were to do that process again, here we go to the admin panel, the users, and we'll create another one called Bright. You'll have an email and the same as this. You just have whatever at gmail.com. The password, I'll just rewrite it really quick. The password here, I'll write it real quick. Okay, submit. Refresh this. You can see Bright has been added and it has now an email. If you open this, you can see the password here. They say it's salt. It has been a hashed password, and it's active, but it does not have any other status. And that's how we can add other things here. Okay, so it looks good. Yeah, there's also another way we can render this form. We go to the register. Rather than having it like this, you can create a kind of a for loop here, which will look like this. So we'll just get rid of this. We'll have a for loop. Remember the tags for the loops. This is we have percentages. So for field in form. Okay, for field in form, then we'll end this for loop first. Let's just end this for and for. Okay, inside here, now what we want inside here, it will be field. Let's just have this too. Form dot field this, and they want it to have the fields labeled, all of them. Okay, sorry, not for it's field dot label, so we want the labels of the fields to appear. We've entered this for, we need this. I think it looks good. If we save this, go back here, refresh this, continue, you can see it has created from this field.form all the fields that are on our admin panel from every single person, and it has gone from label to label, then it has ended the for. Another way that we can do this, that I will use so that we can be able to make a couple of changes on this, we'll do it like this. Okay, from all these labels we can just take them individually. So we can have form dot username dot label, and we want it to give us form dot username. If we save this and go and look how it looks right now, refresh, continue, it has only the username. So we'll do this and have all of them here, all 4 of them. So we'll just change this to email. Perfect. Copy this, paste it here. I'll just do this real quick. Okay, I'll save that, go back here, refresh this, continue, and we have everything here. The reason I've done it like this is so that we can now look for some sort of bootstrap thing that we can feed all this so that it stops looking this plain. The one that we will use, let me show you where we'll get it. We will get it, let me just paste this here. I'll put this link in the description. Make this full screen. We want it something that looks like this. We'll just get rid of all those extra things, but we want it to be this simple. Okay, How we do that is we just copy this. It has a lot of things. CSS here, it has some JavaScript here, but let's copy this, take it here, go to the registration form here, and then just above this we'll paste this here, save this, go back here, refresh, continue. Okay, it has added it, but it does not have the styling. Okay, it has added it, but it does not have the styling. You can go back here, we have the CSS here, you can see the CSS here. Okay, oh, it has no JavaScript, just CSS. There's one that I used that had JavaScript, but this one just has CSS. We can copy that. Okay, don't think I'll use this one. Let's just have something very, very simple that has everything. So I'll send the link to this. The good thing about this, it has everything inside here, from the styling to everything, and everything is fine. So we can just copy this, and rather than having all this, we'll just undo it. Just back to what it was. This is what it was up there. We just add that, save that, go back to this, go back here, refresh, and now at least this looks a little bit better without having to think about a lot of things. This has been linked to the login page that we have not created yet, but okay. But we have this form, but the problem with this form is that our form is down here and the submission is here, but we want it to be here. Okay, how we do that is we'll go back to this, and now we will just be copying this, cut it, or rather copy it, and then we will place it, register account. We'll go to where we have our first thing. Where is it? Okay, username is here. So where we want to copy it is here, because this is now just an input that is in a text, that is username. We want to copy that, paste that there, make it look good like that. We'll just take the next one. I think, let me just delete this, take this, copy it, cut it, go to the next one. Where is the next one? Email is here. We'll just replace it with this. Okay, go to the next one, which is password. Cut that password out. Then we'll come and replace it with this. Replace it there. Then we go to the next one. Password 2. Copy that. Press it here. Paste. Move them there. I think it looks nice. There. And then we don't forget this. It's very, very important. Let's just delete this. We'll go where our form starts. Where does our form start? Form. We look for where our form starts. Form. Okay. Input. Our form starts here, and you can see it's already post, and action is going to that URL, and we go down there and add our Crsf token. Good. And then I think we're all good. this is not good anymore, you needed anymore, delete that, save that, go back here, refresh. You can see them here, but it has kind of disarranged it a little bit. Okay, what might be the problem there? It has disarranged it a little bit, but the problem might be, okay, just look at this. It's I think it's because it's doing double work, because we don't need this anymore. We don't need the labels anymore. We don't need these labels anymore, because already labels were just to show you that name, like username, and we already have that on our new list, on our new styling that we have. So I'll save this, go back here, refresh. Now it looks good. Yeah, it was doing it double. Just adding another this username, and it has already been put. Okay, when you go back here, we'll understand these are the placeholders. So if you change this to anything, save it, go back here, refresh, you can see it has changed this. So these are just the placeholders, and we arrange them according to what we want them to be. Re-enter password, good, everything is fine. And now it is a styled version of it. It looks better rather than having a basic looking page. Now if you register, you go through a page that looks like this. You register, then once you register, you are taken to the login page, now which we are going to create right now. Let's customize now the login page. This we'll just delete this, we go back here. Also have the link to this new, this now is the login one. Just copy this. In this one now we don't even need to change anything. We'll save that, refresh this. It is actually direct into the login page, and you can see the login page here. Perfect. And this is JS Fiddle. If you don't know, this is a person called Innova11 who creates this and gives it for free. So we have created that. It looks nice. I think it looks nice. Okay, so we can register, we can sign up, we can log in. Perfect, it's working perfectly. This register account, okay, you can see it's working properly. Something worth noting here is that you can see this is redirecting it to the URL register, to this. So once you create an account or click the sign up on the login, it takes you to the register page, and once you click the register page here, login page, you'll take into the login. So if you don't name this, and for example, you can just delete this, save, refresh, you can see there's a problem here. So you really need this. The names, because it's redirecting, it's basically taking you to that side. Something else that we need to do is use this redirect here. So once you register, we want you to be redirected to URL. We want you to be taken to the login page. Once you create a user, we want you to be taken. Once you create a user, we want you to be taken to this login. We want you to be taken to the login rather than just being logging in immediately. Like just like everything else, once you create a user, you want to be taken to a login page. So we'll go back to views, and then we'll have that %. URL. So okay, no, sorry, this is not supposed to be here. This is for the templates. This will just pass in the login like that, so it will take you to the login, back to the login. Sorry, it's not supposed to have the tags because it's not a template. The templates are the one that have template tags. This one, you just have login here. I think it looks good. Save this. Okay, so if let's do something here. Let's just create a user here at gmail.com, because the reason I'm writing at gmail.com because this is an email field and it has some, the user creation form creates will tell me that this is not a valid email. Let's write password that's wrong. Let's see. If I register, you'll see this talk about that is the email is missing, so that's why I have to write at email.com. So the passwords are not the same. When I register, you can see now we don't know what's wrong. There's an error message that is missing. So to do that, what we need to do that, we need to go to our registration page. So we'll go to our registration page, and just above this login here, we'll create this, where we'll have from form, we'll have the error message. We'll take the error message. Okay, that looks good. Save this, go back here, create another user, Boga's email, have a password that are not similar, register. You can see the error message here. Okay, that is good. Something else that we need to do is just have a flash message. Let's see how to make a flash message that we have already redirected to the login page once we have a good account created. So what we need is create a flash message like account has been created for this once it redirects to the login page. How to do this? We'll go to the views.py. Let's go to the views.py. Sorry, that is not important. Go to the views.py. Let's close this one out. You can see there are so many things. This is the database, the db.sqlite. Let me just close this out. Okay, we'll go to the views.py, and there are a couple of things that we need to do here. I've already opened the documentation for the message, like the flash message. There are a couple of things that this is debug information, success, etc., and this is what we'll use. Let me just finish up and you'll see what I mean. Let's just copy this. We'll copy that and we'll just paste it here. Sorry, copy this, paste it here. Okay, and what we need to do is go to the registration page. Okay, on this registration page, we have imported the messages from the Django contrib. We go to the registration page and just go here, form. After we save the form, we want to import something from these messages. We want to take something inside there that is called success. Okay, so we are using this success here, and what you can see, it's text requests and something profile dated updated. So it takes requests and something else. It will take let's say account created. Okay, and we can say account created for, so that it becomes a little bit more dynamic. Sorry, account created for then we will add the username, like the user. Let's call it user. What now we need to create? You need to create a variable for this user. This user, it will be what the user will be. It will take let's just measure this out quickly. Cleaned underscore data, and from this clean underscore data, we want it to get dot get, and it will get the username. Okay, it looks nice. So it will take the username from this, the name that you have created with, and then it will say account created for, if you have said Mike, for Mike. It looks good. Create the spacing there. It looks nice. Save this. Let's go here, login. Let's refresh this. Continue. Okay, we'll use this information that is here. I'll create a password. Let's say very easy password. Register. Okay, the two password fields did not match. Continue. What's going on? Let's have this. Register. Okay, the flash message has not been sent yet. There's something that I've not done. Okay, the error that I have made is I have not gone to the login page and told it to pass the message. So we want the message to be passed just above that, just above here. So we'll go to this sign up, we'll go here. So on here, what we want to do is we want to create a for loop. We'll go for message in messages. Make sure you end the for loop. Even added the dollar signs, the percent signs. Make sure you end the for loop, and for inside here we want the message to be passed. Message. Okay. Something else, let's just put this message in a paragraph tag. Save this. Okay, let's go back to this. Sign up. Create another user. We just have a good name now. I'm using weird names. Matthew. Copy that. Matthew at matthew.com. Have a good password here. Register. Account created for Matthew. This has appeared here because I had not refreshed, but once we create a new one, we can create a new one here. Refresh this, go home, refresh this again. Let's redo this again. Register. You can have Ezekiel. Copy that. Have Ezekiel at ezekiel.com. Have a password. Then we'll do this. Then register. Account created for Ezekiel. And now you can come here and look for Ezekiel. You can write Ezekiel here. You can have the password. Perfect. it works. The problem is I have not told it now to where to go, and I have not added the Crsf token, but let's do it now. Since the login was not working, it was asking for a Crsf token. There are a couple of things we need to do. We need, first of all, to import some logins. We need to import some things from Django itself, so that a couple of things will start working, like authentication, etc. So we'll have to take from Django.contrib here, .auth. We want to import a couple of things. We want to import authenticate, and we want to import login, and also a logout function. Logout function. So this will really help us in logging in and logging out, and we'll use this in a moment. You'll just see. Then when we go to our login page, our login function here, we'll see that if we look at our login here, where is it? At the beginning of the code, you'll see it's a post. The method is a post method. Yes, exactly. So we want to check here. We'll come here, and we want to check if it is, if the request dot method equals post, what we want this to do is we need something requests dot post. We want it to get the username and the password. We want it to get the username and the password. So get username, and then we want it to do the same thing. Copy this, paste it here, and now password. Okay, then we'll go to the login.html, and you can see those things here. You can see password and username, and those are the things that we want to take. Okay, so let's go back to our views. Then what we need to do is add a Crsf token. First of all, let's just go to the login. When the form begins, just here, we'll add a Crsf token. Okay, so we add the token here. It will never let us, as we remember when we tried to log in, it just talked about this. It will never let us send anything that way without having this. So you have to put that in. Go back to the to the views, and then now we want to do something here. So first we want to have this. Let's just rename this. Before we rename this, there's something that is happening here, because now the user want to create a function, a variable here, which will be the authenticate. We'll see what is happening in a second. Then this will take the request, and then comma username will be equal to username, and then password will be equal to password. Okay, so we rename this to those variables. We just say username equals to that, and then password equal to that. Then we want to create another if function here, which will be if user is not none. What we want to do is use the function that we have up there, the login function. And then after they are logged in, we want it to return redirect, and it will take us to home, like we named it in the URL, home. Want us to take us home. But there's a problem here, because now the functions will collide. You can see this is a function, but this is also a function, and this function is coming from login here, and this is another function I created. So I'll just rename this to page, login page. So this I'll put registration page, and then I'll just change them on the URL. Let me just copy paste this. Rather than having login, it will be login page, and this will be registration page. I'll save this, save this. Okay, so that because this function will collide with this function, so I want them to be separate. Okay, everything seems fine. Let's save this, and then let's check if our server is still running. Okay, it's good. We'll go back to this. Ezekiel will write his password, login, forbidden, Crsf verification failed, Crsf token missing. Okay, let me just check. I usually write the Crsf a little bit wrong, no problem. Login, rf missing. I'll just reload this. I think maybe it did not reload correctly. Login, Anton, login. Okay, save this. View is fine. URL is fine. We redirected it to the home page. I don't know why it's not redirecting. When you go to the login here, directed it to the home page. Okay, let me check if there's anything wrong here. Okay, login, save this. So the problem is this login function. When you read the documentation, you see it needs to to be passed here, and it needs to be passed the username also. If you read the documentation, you'll see this. Let's see if it's working now. Go back here, Anton, login. Sorry, refresh first. Go to the login. Login. Let's choose this new user, login. Okay, there's something that's still wrong. It's a login in, but okay, I've just read the documentation. There's a problem here. There's a problem here because it's not passing username. It's supposed to pass this user. And then there's also a problem here. These ones are not supposed to have this because they are reading this directly. So it should be like that. Okay, I think everything's fine now. Let's just see how it responds to this. Refresh this. Login. Perfect. So it has been redirected to this page where you can see the total students, add student, etc., etc. And Yeah, so the problem was here. I was rather than saying username, I was saying user, and these ones are not supposed to have been enclosed because they are reading these variables directly. Okay, now I've seen it's working correctly. Now what we want to do is now have if a person writes a wrong password. For example, if we go back to the login page here, and this password is incorrect, login, it's still redirecting to this page, and we want, if the password is wrong, because if we write that, it's, you can see if it's wrong, there is no way to know if the password is wrong. It's just returning here, and nothing is happening. So we want to add an else here. So basically this else will say if the user is none, login return home. Then else we'll have the message.info, sorry, message just.info. Then we'll pass in a request here. Then we will say something like what's going on? Incorrect username or password. Perfect. Then we want it to return him back to this page. We want it to return him back to the login page. Okay, save this. Okay, it looks nice. No. This one is not necessary because this is already outside here, and it's working because it returns this. It's good because it's outside this, else is perfect. So when we go back here and just change this password, maybe refresh. Let's refresh first. Continue. Let's change this password. Login, incorrect username or password. Login, incorrect username or password. Okay. We can also change this a little bit so that it's more visible, because you might not see it, and we do that by going to our login, and this, we can change the type. Sorry, or let's just leave it like that. I think it's good. Okay, I've seen it's working good. It's working really good. If you have a wrong, same thing. If it's correct, it's logging in. Perfect. Now we need a kind of a logout thing, because if we try logout here, sorry, if we try logout here, we haven't created the logout yet. Page not found. So we need to have like a template for logging out, and we can also change a couple of things inside here. We'll have a login button, etc, etc. Okay, so what we want to do now is create now a logout function. So we'll come here, create some space. So we'll have a logout function, which we'll just call it logout user. Is passing a request inside here, and then what we want it to do, we just want it to return somebody to the login page. We actually don't even need a template for this because it's not showing anything. It's just like a redirect, basically returning us to the login page. And before we continue, we also need to pass this in. We need to pass this logout function that we have here. Okay, some small spacing, and inside here it will take requests. Perfect. Then what we need to do is go to the navbar. What we need to do is we go to the navbar, and now we want to add on our navbar right at the end here. We want to add something here. We want to add like hello, then the username, whoever it is, hello Anthony or hello Anton, and then there's a logout here. So how we do that is we go to the end here, and then we'll have a span, and then here it will be hello, comma, and you can just extract actually the user. Requests dot user, and then we can have another one here, span, then we'll add an a tag, and then we'll have logout. Okay, and we need to pass in here a logout URL, which will look like this. URL logout. But we also need to create a logout here, so we can just copy this, paste it here, name it logout. What did you name it here? Logout user. And name it logout. Perfect. We'll save this. Then we'll save this. Go to the navbar. So it's a hello user. It's working perfectly. Save this. Let's go back here. Refresh this, and you can see it here. It's not quite visible, but you have hello Anton logout. We'll style this a little bit so it's visible. We'll also add a space here. Save this, return here. Okay, we'll have a space here. Save this, refresh. It looks like that. So what we need to do here is now we are going to have to style this a little bit. So we will add a class here, and maybe we'll call it hello user info, maybe user underscore info. And because we want it to be the same as this one, we'll just add this class also here. Okay, then we'll do a little bit of styling, a little bit of CSS, or but we'll just add it here. Just add style. Okay, let's just delete this. Delete that. Okay, then we'll have dot. Then it's called user information. Then we'll have this we can have some little bit of styling here. Let me check this some styling here. You don't have to know a lot of CSS. You can just copy paste what I'm doing here, because I'm also getting this information from somewhere else. You can have color. Let's have it be white, and white is usually FFF. And then margin right. Margin dash right. Can have 20 pixels. Save this, go back here, refresh. Okay, save this again, refresh this. Okay, it's not changing. Let me see what the problem might be here. Oh, we need to have colon here, save this, go back here, refresh. Yeah, hello Anton. Then we have a logout here, and if we click the logout, name context is not defined. Okay. Oh, I have made a mistake. I added context here. You can just remove this, save that, go back. Start, because you see anonymous user, logout, it's working, login. Okay, let's see what the problem might be. Logout. Okay, in just a moment. Let me try something here. Login. Okay, it's working here. Anton, when you log out, let's change to this guy, login. There's a problem here. Let me just debug this real quick. So I think there's a problem here. I think I should just not return, but just return redirect home. Return redirect login, sorry, because it's rendering and it's not changing up there. So I think this will make it work. I'll go back here, refresh this, continue. We'll log in as somebody else. This time Anton has stolen the spotlight too much. So hello Nganga2, yeah, log out, perfect, login, perfect. I had to redirect, not return and render logout again. So it's working good. We have this, we have our name here. We can add something here. So we have always have capital letter. And write title. I think that will change something here. Save that. Go back here. Refresh. Yeah, you can see it capitalizes the first one. So even if the user used small letters, it will just capitalize. You can see this when you go to maybe Ngagaroya, login. You can see this, logout, perfect. But you see we have logged out, but we can still access this. So hello, a anonymous user. You see there's an anonymous user tag here because there's no one who is logged in. Now we want to prevent people from seeing this if they're not logged in. having a kind of only the authenticated users should only the authenticated users should see this, and we do that by basically going to the views and having a couple of things here. In here we have to import something, so from Django .contrib .out .decorator okay, decorators, yes, it's decorators, import login underscore required. Then this is what we'll use if you don't want somebody to go to the home page. Probably let's prevent people from seeing the home page here. So we start by an at login required into bracket. Where will they be redirected to if they are not logged in? We want them to go back to the login page. So we'll just have a login URL equals, I hope this is the correct way of writing it. We want it to go to the login page. Login, I think that's the correct it's supposed to have underscore login underscore URL equals to that. I think that's good. Okay, everything is fine. Let's save this and then let's go back here and then let's try to go home. There's a problem. Let's just see. Okay, there's a problem with what I have written. It's not supposed to be like that. No problem. Okay, I don't think this is a capital letter. Let's try the small one. I think it's a small one. Refresh. Okay, it's a problem again. Service working correctly. Let's go home. Okay, login. You can see home. What if we log out? Try to go home. Yes, it's asking for a login. When you try to go home, it's asking for a login. Perfect. So we'll just add this to each and every one of this that we don't want people to see. Copy this. We don't want them to see the student data, and we also don't want them to create new students. Save this. Save, and okay. This looks cool. Save that. And now, if you don't have, you cannot view anything now. You might want to go to the admin. You see, it's asking you to log in, and so Anton, can Anton log into the admin? Please enter the correct username and password for a staff account. Remember, we never allowed them to be staff accounts, so the admin, they cannot go in the admin. What about the students? It's asking them to log in. What about create student? It's asking them to log in. So just make sure you log in so that you can do these things. And then when you log in, you'll have hello Mangaria, log out, and now you can see the students. Okay, you can add new student. Perfect. And it works nicely. Something else we can see here is that if we go to this and we are already logged in as Ngangaria and try to go into the login page, we are taken to the login page. If you're trying to go to the register page, register, we are also taken there, but we are logged in. So we are what we're trying to do here is just prevent somebody from who is already logged in from going into these pages. Somebody who is logged in from just going into this register pages and log in. So how we do that is we will go to these ones. We'll do kind of an archaic way of doing it, but it will work. So we need to add a logic here. So if request dot user dot is underscore authenticated, we want it to return redirect, and it takes them home. And else we want to indent all this. Yeah, I want to indent that. So if the user is authenticated, you take them home. If they are not, do the registration process. Same thing to the logout here. So if user or requests dot user dot is underscore authenticated, since this is a property of that specific function, we don't add brackets. Then what we want to do here is do this return, and just copy paste this. We want it to return the person to the home page, and then else we want this to happen to them. We'll indent this. Okay, it looks nice. Let's see this. Let's go home. Okay, so we are logged in. So what about if we now try to register? Okay, I have probably made a mistake here. Redirect home. Home, we are logged in. What about if we try the login? Okay, you can see the login is redirecting us where it's supposed to do. I don't know why the registration is not working. Login, it's returning us here. So we don't have to log in if you have already logged in. But what about register? Okay, the register is going, so we need to change a couple of things here. Okay. Sorry, it's not on the logout page. Another dumb mistake I've made. Just copy this. It's not supposed to be in the logout page, it's supposed to be on the register page. Why? So it's supposed to be here. Turn home. And then else. Okay, indent that, save that, go back here. Perfect. So what it's doing is redirecting us to here. And if we log out, try to go home, it's returning us to the login page. Perfect. Perfect. And that's it for this one. Yeah, that's it for this one. Next, we're going to look at probably you don't want a user to log into a certain page. A certain user having a certain, like, you don't want students to be able to add new students. We just want that to be the admin. Plus also, I think this is just a website for the administrators, so I will confirm everything out, but basically we're going to check on how to have different roles for everyone according to what I'll receive from them. But if they don't want the students to log into this, will not apply to that. But there's a way we can have different users who log in to have different permissions to view different pages. Like I've said, we don't want students to add new students. We just want the lecturers and the admins to add new students. But that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was informative. Adios. See you in the next one.